Well, let's start then, 12:05. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to today's session at the Connecting Nature Summit here for our session on importance of intellectual property for SMEs. My name is Claire Fritz, and I'm here with my colleague Michele Dubini. We are both working for the European IP Helpdesk team for more than 7 years now. Well, 8 years, getting old. But Michele will now just give a short introduction about the European IP Helpdesk, what we do, what we can do for you, and then after that we will dive deeper into the importance of IP for small and medium-sized enterprises. Michele, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Claire. Thank you also, Isabel, for inviting us today at this webinar. Hello, Thomas, and everyone who's present. So before we start actually with the content regarding intellectual property and the importance there to for SMEs, I'd like to introduce you to the European IP Helpdesk, so the initiative for which working in the last, as she said, 7-8 years. If we go to the next slide, we can see that the European IP Helpdesk is actually offering a variety of services for the users that are interested in them. And those services, you can see them in the right-hand side of the screen in the clouds that you can have there. So there is a website which actually has changed. So if you visited our website or the European IP Helpdesk in February or January this year, you've actually visited a different website. We have been incorporated by the European Commission in the EC website together with our other siblings that you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, and about whom I will talk later on in this presentation. And but what we do is basically to address and help current and potential beneficiaries of European funded project researchers and European Union small and medium enterprise are our main groups, because as you may understand, those groups of companies or research centers not 24 of law firms for their day-to-day activity. Therefore, it is a goal of the European Union to provide them with the first line service about property and intellectual property rights. That means that the European Union is not going to write, for example, the claims of the patent for you, which is a job that is done by professionals and specialized in specific fields of intellectual property, like patent attorneys or trademark attorneys, but we can support the knowledge and raise awareness regarding intellectual property. And for example, today, important might have for business in order to guide the attention of a company, of a research center towards the right goals. And we you can see on the right hand side of the screen, so meaning the website, which is the cornerstone from which you can small, which in 2 years, as you may imagine, have been only online training on site. The pandemic has brought this way. There are publications, interesting guides, and also templates document you can download. There's a ambassador network and a helpline. But regarding the tool that might be the website, as I said, the training activities, and I talked about the publication, a couple of examples of them, guides that explain in the business world, in the Horizon world, what is meant mission mind or communication and explanation might be interesting for your read. In addition to that, dedicated YouTube channel which is showing audiovisual content, and also dedicated accounts on LinkedIn and Twitter, also the social media. As I said, in the next slide, we can go on. The website in which we are now embedded is containing also the helpline support. So through the website, you can ask for the support of our helpline, which is again a free of charge first line. The advantage is that the helpline point, so that you can actually directly your specific question, provided that that is about intellectual property or intellectual property rights, and you will receive an answer within 3 working days. Through email, website, as I said, or also through phone. The questions may be asked in English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, and Polish. We, however, really suggest the questions to be in English. All the information contained in the question are considered confidential, and that means that no third party is ever going to be informed about your personal data or technical data of potential disclosure you might have inside your question. And in the next slide, after the touch and some of them who have already happened. Actually, we are currently coming out from a webinar, which was pretty interesting, regarding impact and innovation in 20 and Horizon Europe. And this is the upcoming schedule for the second part of the year. So if you're interested in one of those topics, you're actually very, very welcome to register to one of those webinars, and you will then have the webinar. If you've lost some of the webinars, like for example the 23rd of June or today's webinar, you always have a chance to request to have access to the slides and the recording, and we will provide them to you. Simply write them down and you will be able to see the already carried out webinars in streaming later on. If I remember correctly, the training module with regards to Horizon Europe, of course, that for us large novelty this year, because rules actually have changed, and we have created, or we have models that analyze potential changes between Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe, with our experts who have taken some time in order to analyze the new information Commission and to create and maintain or update the slides and the that were about Horizon 2020 in the past and now have become Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe. The next slide, there's the new training cooperation. That is something interesting because normally every year we have a new cooperation with a new either a European institution, in this case the European agency, which is the PBO, the Community in France. And those are of this year. If you are interested in the field, please do not hesitate, as I told you, to ask for having access to the webinars that have taken place in the first part of the year, or if you're interested in the ones upcoming in the second part of the year, do not hesitate to register. In the next slide is a couple of words regarding the ambassador scheme, because they are usually important for us. They are the entry door, the European territory, and they are the connection actually to the small, medium sized enterprises around the European Union. And they allow us to get in touch with those companies, with those researchers in their language. And therefore, they are a hugely important bridge for us to get in touch with the realities, different realities in the European Union. And then, as next slide, our in Poland, which we thank for their work and cooperation. If you might need to get in touch with them, just to let you know that they work steadily and constantly together with us, and therefore they have the trust of the European IP Help Desk and also the gratitude as well for that they are doing. These are the and that's it.
Yeah, we just wanted to show them here as well, as the event is mainly organized by Poznan. So here we thought the Central City Hall of Poznan and of course the Connecting Nature Summit platform, but just saying that just in case he is also someone from another European country, don't hesitate and check out our website where you can then find the ambassador at your doorstep right away. Sorry for interrupting, Michele. But as it's anyway, then the next slide. Yeah. Here, I'm sorry, I have to click twice every time and I just find out.
Claire, a couple of steps for myself, but Claire will. And we divided to parts because Claire has more economical knowledge and business activities, and she is project manager at GmbH, whilst for myself, I have a law, intellectual property law. So I will take over information regarding intellectual instead is focus on the use and for economical activities in IPR. We can give ourselves the word in the so starting from now.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And actually, this is a good mix. I think that could be useful for everybody or every company, every project coping with IP, having a business person and a legal person taking care of it. So this is, from my point of view, really a great mix with Michele and myself. And Isabel did ask, are there IP ambassadors in every European country? Yeah, so far, I think we don't have any white spot at the moment. We are counting with 47 IP ambassadors in 28 countries, depending. I think they're, for example, an associated country like Norway, here we are still looking for an IP ambassador. So just in case you know anyone who is a member of the Enterprise Europe network and is coping with IP, let's say on a more or less daily basis, feel free to let us know, or to, the person, him or herself, reach out to us. And now, Michele did already provide you with a short overview of what we're going to explain today, but here is, even though again, our roadmap. And before we really get started, I just wanted to quickly emphasize that this is a webinar for beginners. So you don't need to know anything more about IP than that it's a legal tool, and we are not talking about internet protocol here. So it's really a beginner's webinar. And yeah, just to go through the roadmap once more. First, we will briefly go over why our webinar makes sense and why you are investing your time wisely. But it is also similar to the greetings of every online fitness video here today. So you have already taken the biggest step by participating, I'd say. So you are aware of the importance of intellectual property, and I think this is one of the biggest steps to take. And then Michele, as our legal support today. An expert will give us some more details about the basics of IP, so we all know what IP is about in general. And then in the third part of the session, I will go into the economic strategic added value of IP rights. And finally, we have put together some helpful tools and other IP services that can be of interest for you. So why is IP important? IP is a property right that is established in law to exclude others from using without authorization your intellectual creations. IP rights allow you to commercialize and exploit your innovative and creative ideas. This as a basis. We did include a slide about these two EU EPO and EU IPO studies with the names High Growth Firms and IP Rights, and the other one is called Market Success for Inventions. They both date back to 2019. I think there is even a newer study on high growth, in combination with the initiative of the EPO going on at the moment, but no results have been published. So I will try to get these results for the next time. But whatever, these studies pointed out that SMEs using IP are more likely to achieve high growth, and that there is a strong link between growth and the use of IP. So firms with more than one IP right are also more likely to grow quicker, and IPUs can identify future high growth firms, and it also helps to enter into collaboration. That means, in addition, IPR owners are almost twice as likely as non-owners to collaborate with other organizations on new innovations. So universities and academia are the most common collaboration partner for IPR owners, and being involved in almost a third of cases, so here the universities and non-owners that collaborate prefer to partner up with large companies. But here, there's always the question of David and Goliath. Who has then the better legal department? And those among you who are already IPR owners and who are aware of the strategic value of IPR protection for your project or company count already among the 60% most innovative SMEs out there. So let's get to the next slide. I hope it's working. Yeah, here it is. Just switching off everything else, as unfortunately some windows are popping up. So we've been talking about our IP ambassadors, and as they are our main satellite or contact to SMEs out there, we did ask what are the main challenges the community is facing when it comes to intellectual property. And one big issue was, on the one hand, lack of awareness. So that means, for example, our ambassador here in the picture, Merit from Estonia, said that most SMEs don't really see IP as a strategic tool, as on the one hand, and this is what, right? Noemi is saying, Noemi is saying they don't really know what they have, what IP is, in which way IP can be of strategic value in the business. And Merit is saying that, well, if they know, they say it's way too expensive and way too complicated. And then in the end, the most of them really care when it's already too late and the infringement has already happened. So just to give you some feedback or what we've been experiencing also with our helpline team, many people just reach out when it's already too late. So it's really important to act early. And how does this really affect you? Well, although it's usually, or most of the times, unnoticed, IP is all around us. So I hope this picture shows us a bit. It's actually just showing that many of the products you can see here are products or services from companies out there whose daily work often results in creative works, inventions, and distinctive symbols capable of generating profits for the creators and inventors. And the IP system arises here as an opportunity to turn those innovative ideas, creative designs, and other intangible assets into valuable business assets, which then can be transferred, licensed, or used as collateral to obtain financing, as we will see today. And yeah, how does this really affect your business or your project? Regardless of what product you are working on or what service you are providing, it is very likely that you are using or creating IP in your daily business. So almost everyone has, every company has a trade name, every project has an acronym for the website, or one or more trademarks. Some may have invented or improved a product or a service, and some are even already using the IP of others without really recognizing. So most of you will have valuable confidential business information, from customer lists to sales tactics that they may wish to protect. And a large number would have developed creative original designs. These are just examples I'm giving here now. And in all such cases, you should really consider how to best use the IP system to its own benefit. So IP is here to assist you in almost every aspect of your business development and your competitive strategy. So means from product development to product design, from service delivery to marketing, and also then from raising financial resources to exporting or expanding your business abroad through licensing or even franchising. And in order to do so, you need to secure your intellectual property by then making use of intellectual property rights. IP has to be understood, protected, and managed, and sometimes, unfortunately, also enforced. But more about the basics now by Michele.
For basics of discipline. So slide, and we can see intellectual property under law to distinguish the difference between definition of intellectual property and IP, the product of a of idea, anyway, something that not so product of the human brain, the product is to be we shouldn't IPR the information that we use to give an something that watchable, and secondly, a own a that intangible creation too. Very often, we see very often within there's uncertainty between IP and the point also because infinite amount of intellectual property that our intellectual rights can be applied to the human. All the IP, which is a intellectual property, and then if we can see the basic introduction, limited human that can to the IP. So we may have patent when intellectual property is an invention. We may have when our intellectual property are some right more differentiated also for or also for books, like or in general than trademark may be applicable to that may the consumer within the then secret that is applicable that is valuable as that secret that is applicable to products in a specific geographical area and connected to the specific geographical area and characteristic. The community plant variety rights are certain plants and that themselves in a order and scheme, and of course are created the sexual interconnection. And those are the IPR. As you may imagine, I had a very, very IP that may be the object of intellectual property rights. But in some cases cannot be protected, or that is not really worth protected, of course, on the specific. We can go on to the next. In order to check, take the others, because I told them, but make a between them, then we about the registration. Not if you write a book by the copy exactly which you art. There are other IP rights like utility model, and you need for a regional or national in order them acting in between. We have IP of is you as long as you manage secret. As soon as instead divulge or protection granted for in the next slide, this is I you to protect registrable that actually should be how can try to understand IPR can I apply IP and already before I wanted to, because I think and if you have or that might apply for you might, and for a limited territory you might want to choose a utility instead of a depends on the you have in your business research so it's is it the shape of and you can throughout the Europe is the name sign that you identify or search then you and that is some of them as I did before, but also to leave it down to perhaps the idea that there is no one intellectual property. First of all, which is secondly, we always have that intellectual. So if one that has different feed signs on it that identify may have rights to that particular product. Maybe it's actually in the next step, but I'm not sure about that. We can see whether that I don't know. And in order to be able to see the different characteristics of the intellectual property, and now review that was done by the 4IP Council group. I'm not going to try to read it because, but as soon as you will let us find information. Go to the next slide now. There are actually three that are a. The first you can see here is duration. So the mainly are a monopoly system ensuring the IP because he knew creation of the mind that apparently some sort of agreed with the community. So much giving of having a monopoly on that particular of his mind is for developed. He is with the community. He's going to which members of the community may information, and this here the limit of copyright of the author, patents, which is the date of patent, industrial design be indefinitely. But if you're looking at patents, if you check whether be to the might be obstacle in the mind, always check is all, or if the fees have always been paid. Older than, or if they have not been going to be active anymore, be free to operate you like. It has, but it is held, and therefore, I think is principle. So one, everything to X and on the other we've got which is, and that's it as well for the intellectual property rights. Of the space, you're going to receive protection only in you have sought. If you file for the application in the and you're paid in the US, you're going there for different European, each and every word. Choose wisely with patents because of novelty. You might not be able to find if you and then fight against novelty. You cannot. if you fight for your patents in the US and then you fight 3 years in Europe, going to be in big the volumes. But 3 years ago, you filed this patent in the US, it has published. Patent you're trying here. However, at the end of the day, you're going only if you file, you have been granted your IP right. And going, there's a third principle, which is rights conferred. You but that right works negatively, in the sense the patent, for example, no authorization to operate within a certain market. So that, how is it possible to stop an activity? Because social has told me that I can operate because of something that is similar, and that my patent is new, and that's even if you that the once you enter into, you might not be in breach already, say complementary to the is or good that you're offering. So so to give or less intellectual property, the integrity that is applied to of active functioning. So freedom to operate, allowance, principle, time, space, and of the right. Slide. Use intellectual property rights. When shoe here, you can see that there are some technical features. For example, amortization, if that's in English, but the overall is more comfortable, and therefore that we know trademark. There's a also on shoe of the shoe is a product of different rights. Slide. The combined use, the intellectual property as a business asset to
Thank you, Michele. I hope the sound is a bit better with my microphone, as we're using you, Michele, from time to time. Anyway, let's go on. So this was the basic overview of intellectual property rights. What's the difference between IP and IPR? What are the different intellectual property rights out there? And as I said at the beginning, I'm going to focus now more on IP itself as a business asset. And the next slide is going to show you an overview of how IP can then grow your business. So on the one hand, it can help you to build exclusivity by, for example, being the first to market, or by excluding competitors. As I said, IP can help you then to forbid others to use your innovation. It can help you to enhance your reputation, and with this, it can then increase the value of your company or then also project. It can help you with the commercialization by securing you when entering into collaboration with partners, as everything is already secured and set out. But it can also then provide you with the freedom to operate, so you know you are not infringing the rights of others. And last but not least, it can attract funding and investment by finding business partners, or then also by attracting capital or venture capital. And here you see a list and ranking of the most valuable brands worldwide in 21. And it's, for me, I can only speak for myself, but it's quite crazy to see these utopic values of, for example, 263 US billion dollars. This is huge. And yeah, I know it is easy and even a bit boring to always focus on the whales out there. But even though it's a good example to show you how this can go if you are then early on and securing your, for example, in this case, brand, and then building on. But I would like to highlight a very nice collection of EPO case studies on my next slide. So here the EPO has been cooperating with 12 different European SMEs that were able to successfully integrate intellectual property as a strategic business tool in their business. So that means they are leveraging the power of patents or other IP rights to achieve business success. And I would like to highlight here now an Austrian example, as it's also a nature-based company, or the business model they are using. They are using red algae to fight the flu. So they have been applying flexible licensing models that have been then increasing the chances of creating win-win situations with other partners. They have been involving IP specialists very early in the R&D stage to then improve the patent protection for subsequent commercial applications. Just to give you some ideas how this could then be applied. In negotiations, they always preferred the way to solve then the potential infringement issues instead of then litigation. That was always considered as the last resort. And trademarks can add value to patents and extend protection beyond the life of the patent. Just to give you one example, here it is, Marinomed, a biotechnology firm from Austria. So what are then the advantages or the merits of IP activities in business? So on the one hand, it can prevent infringement by other companies and protecting your technology. It can increase profits through, for example, licensing. It can increase customer confidence in your technology and establish a brand. Top management making speedy decisions by directly linking IP strategy with the overall management strategy can be very useful. And it can also help you to secure, for example, a share in a niche market by using IP. And what are the risks when you disregard or neglect IP management? A company's technology that, for example, had been considered as for example, has been a technology that has not been considered as really useful, or let's say special enough to then be patented, can then be left unpatented, and then the competitor can easily patent it and exclude you from using it, or you then have to buy the license for your own technology. Ideas and know-how can be leaked through marketing or transactions or even employees. So make sure that the important employees are, for example, also signing, for example, a non-disclosure agreement. So important information is not getting disclosed. And as I said, the risk of infringement is high, so a company or you can also suddenly receive a warning or even a claim for damages regarding IP infringement. So make sure that these risks are excluded. And now this is an overview of potential IP strategies with 3 different strategic objectives. So we have creation in the first 2 scenarios, we have protection in scenario 3 and 4, and we have utilization in scenario 5 and 6. And I would like to speak first about the objective of creation. So conducting R&D in collaboration with another company or university, for example, independently, can here be then, wait, here it is, can then be scenario number 1 or 2. So scenario number 1, the joint development strategy. That means a company cannot conduct commercialization independently due to, for example, a lack of management resources, such as technological capabilities. And another case could be that a company can provide an attractive and unique core competence. So, for example, skills or, as I said, unique technology that cannot be imitated by other companies, and that can then be provided to a partner company. Scenario number 2 is then the independent development strategy. This is, for example, a company that can or that would like to keep its technology as a secret. So know-how secret from or it would like to work with the know-how or secret from another company. Here I would like to highlight the definition of a trade secret. It's secret, meaning it is not or as a body or in the precise configuration and assembly of its components generally known among or readily accessible to persons within the circles that normally deal with the kind of information in question. If you like, I can also share this definition later on with you. I don't know it by heart, but I thought it might be useful to read it out loud once. Another condition is it has commercial value because it is secret. And the third condition is it has been subject to reasonable steps under the circumstances by the person in control of the information to keep it secret. Quite vast, I know, but these are the 3 conditions that have to be fulfilled in order to keep something secret. Now, scenarios 3 and 4. So here it's about protection, means acquiring IP or concealing technology as know-how. Strategy number 3 could be the monopolization strategy. So that is, for example, a company's technology is difficult to conceal, and there is a risk of it being easily found out or imitated by other companies. Then the other possibility is where the technical level of the company is the same as that of its competitors in the relevant field, or it is difficult to claim the prior user's rights. So that means you are trying to gain a large market share by acquiring the IP. Strategy number 4 is then the know-how strategy. It's all about protection again. So it's about concealing the technology you would like to secure. This can apply where the technique is not easily discoverable by other companies, such as technology related to a manufacturing process, or it could be where a strict confidentiality system within the company or project is already in place. Now, scenarios number 5 and 6 about the utilization. Here it's about license IPR to other companies or using another company's IPR. Strategy number 5. Here it's about gaining profits by licensing or transferring the company's IPR to other companies, so selling it. Where the company, so this is applying to a company that has, for example, difficulties to produce or would like to use other sales structures or finds it difficult to conduct commercialization independently. Another scenario could be that the company intends to expand the market for its technology by having other companies use it as well. And last but not least, strategy number 6 is then the license acquisition strategy, using another company's IPR and conducting commercialization independently. Yeah, so here it's quite easy. It can just be easier to do so, to use then the IPR of another company, or this by IPR secured technique, knowledge, whatever it is, can solve a problem you are not able to solve. And what is my conclusion? So the conclusion is here that IP strategy is not necessarily a choice between two alternatives, but it can involve multiple decisions. Michele has been talking about the rights conferred, about this armor you can then build around yourself. And here I've been just showing you 6 different possibilities how IP can be used as a strategic advantage. And you can, of course, also combine these with each other. So it is necessary sometimes even to effectively combine these strategies across the IP creation cycle. And sometimes you even, or a company is even required to formulate multiple IP strategies and to carefully determine whether to take a monopolization strategy or a know-how strategy, depending on the technical field or the business area. And it is really of utmost importance to make sure that no early disclosures are happening, can happen, that the necessary agreements are in place, especially in the case of collaborative business approaches. So as I said before, it's always good to have then the non-disclosure agreement signed, for example, and to secure as a third part that you have freedom to operate, that there are no hidden barriers in the markets. And that is it already for our part. It's even though already 12:58, so quite late. I don't want to steal too much of your time. We have a part about useful tools. I'm just going through these in the next 2 minutes, as I wanted to give the strategic part a bit more time instead of rushing through the slides. But as we are sharing the slides anyway with you, the next slides I can go through a bit quicker. So this slide is showing 3 different search engines that are for your use and free of charge. For example, Espacenet is helping you to understand what other patents are out there, which patents are existing already around my innovation or technology. And then there is Trademark View and Design View doing the very same for trademarks and designs. And this is an overview of the SME innovation support services that are providing free of charge service like we do out there. I thought it might be useful to include this list of links for you. And Isabel is just asking, are there templates for NDAs? Yeah, we have useful documents on our website as well, and I will include a list with the useful links also to these documents in the presentation. But I would like to highlight here one more thing. There is a brand new website by the EU IPO. It is called Ideas Powered for Business, and there you can find, it's kind of the famous word one-stop shop for everything that is out there when it comes to IP support. Means training offer, advice, free of charge support, and even calls. And here I would also like to highlight the Patenticus app by the Fraunhofer Institute, just in case you have no idea at all how patents work. This is a very nice gamified way to learn about patents. Yeah, and that's it. These are the lists. Oh, I'm sorry. this was me. Yeah, I know it's already now 1 o'clock and we don't have, thank you very much, Isabel. You did include the link already in the chat on the right side. But just in case you have questions, we are here and we are happy to take the questions. For myself, I still have 10 minutes. I know most of you don't, but just saying.
Another question regarding on templates for and available to write us it's to buy of the party. So
yes, we will share the slides. I'm sure, Isabel, either you can write us an email that you participated here, or I'm sure that the Connecting Nature Summit will provide the presentations and also the recordings of the sessions to all participants later on. Okay, but no further questions are coming in. We are finishing nearly on time, only 2 minutes late. I'm glad that you were here, that you participated, and we hope that we could raise some more interest. Yeah, Isabel is writing that we can share the slides through Connecting Nature website afterwards and the recordings. Yes, so as I said, everything will be made available. And then there is nothing else to say, then thank you very much. If you have questions or would like to talk to us in private, you can also just look here on the right side next to chat and polls. You can find the participants of the Connecting Nature Summit, and you can look for Michele or Claire, and then you can just invite us to a private. Michele, could you switch off your microphone? Thank you. And then you can just ask for a private session, and then we can explain the services further, or if you have a specific IP question. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.